Hello, welcome to this episode of Displacer Geeks. My name is Brian.
And I'm Hudson. We're two geeks talking about the geek, and Brian's trying to get eaten by a dragon.
That's right. Very cool looking dragon, by the way. Look at how awesome that thing is.
Well, it's like D&D just released a new version of D&D. Oh yeah, they did.
Yep, yep.
Oh look.
Dungeons and
Oh,
Dragons Player's Handbook. They're kind of calling it D&D 1. We got a chance to get copies of it a little bit early, and we have looked over it, and we are excited to talk about it
yep,
because
yep.
apparently we enjoy what we're seing. Otherwise, we'd be griping already. What do you think?
I mean, so far so good. Well, I mean, let's just talk about the most obvious big change. The pages are very legible.
Yes. I mean, holy cow. I will tell you what, the thing that drove me nuts about fifth edition books is the page number and the titles by the page numbers in the corner. They were all light in the previous versions. And to an old man like me, I just had a hard time seeing them all the time. It was very frustrating. But
I,
yeah,
I
they seem to use a different color of background and their text and they did a lot more boldness on their topics, their subcategories and stuff like that. And I tell you what, it is extremely easy to read. So
yep.
I'm very excited about
Lot
that.
I would say lots and lots of layout improvements. Something you pointed out, and as I was looking through it, and I'm like, oh, this is what he's talking about, and I 100% agree with you. It's like starts out level one, level one, you gain this ability. Level two, you gain this ability, and it just like lists what the abilities are.
It categorizes the abilities by level and stuff, which is super nice. Instead of just seeing the abilities and kind of having to read through and seeing what level you get. They
Yeah,
categorize this thing really well. The
yeah,
leveling, they put together all the class spells on a page or two, so that's really nice. You could just look at the bard and know all the different spells that you
yeah,
can use, and then you can just go
yeah.
look them up in the back of the book. But the organization just seems to be way better,
Way better.
way better than before.
I'd have to go get an original 5e book, but I say this book's a little bit thicker
Oh yeah, it's about
too.
the 30% more thicker, I would think, right around there. It
Yeah.
is a hefty book, which
But
is
like,
cool.
yeah. The other thing is the artwork is so much better.
I
You know,
agree. I really like the artwork a lot. I mean, I might be crazy. It reminds me a bit of fourth edition artwork, but very good artwork. I mean, it
yeah,
pops. It's fairly uniform, which isn't necessarily a big thing,
yeah,
but just all of it seems really legit. I mean, this dragon right there is phenomenal. That displacer beast behind Hudson's head is super cool looking. I mean, it's just great. Great stuff. Very happy with all of it. They've changed from races to species, which is interesting. And then they've also done the backgrounds to be kind
yep,
of what gives you a lot of different things. And they categorize it and label it really cool. So here's your background. So you just have your, yep. We're really terrible at this, by the way.
yeah. We are. We
But
almost need a thing. Whoops! I can't
lots
even
of lab
get both my hands in the front of the screen.
lots of labels and pictures, labels and pictures, labels and pictures. I really like that. I think that's cool. Labeling things does not hurt anyone. It actually only helps people. So I'm all for it.
So one of the things I really appreciated was instead of making the orc has +2 strength all the time or whatever, and then eventually just going away saying you can get +2 +1 all the time. Like they're like, nope, it's based off your background. Like your background kind of dictates what your stats are a little bit. And I'm like, oh, that actually makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of a
So
neat little way to do it.
yeah,
Totally fine trying it out and seeing how it goes. It's cool that the background affects your character a lot because it just makes sense.
yeah.
Just totally makes sense.
Another thing I noticed is they had rules for if you didn't want to use one of the current ones in the player's handbook, it had rules for taking a species from 5e and converting it over. It was
Oh,
actually
that's
super
cool.
it was super easy. It's like get all the stuff, get all the goodies off the species. Don't take the stat bonus, and then take the stat bonus from your background. Use the
Perfect.
background. Use the background out of the new book.
That's nice that they had that in there. I totally did not catch that. Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, No, I'm excited. I am very excited to see what the new books look like, and if they keep to this format,
I
they're
would,
going to be
at
very
least for the
user
first
friendly.
three. For the first three, I would think they would almost have to.
I would think so. And the same
Yeah.
artists and stuff too are the same style because
Yep.
it is it is awesome. It is really cool. Just tons of great imagery in here.
Yeah. So the two big names when I was looking in the credits, Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins, and they also did a lot on fifth edition.
Oh, okay.
So it was good to see that these guys were, like, hey, maybe these were some things we could have done better and like learn from. It feels like uh, this is an example of people learning from their mistakes and
Yeah.
doing better.
Yeah, and not even that they made mistakes, but that they at least are reflecting and saying, you know what, we could do this better. We could do this better, you know?
Yeah,
So,
I really do feel like that's what happened.
and if you're worried about D&D 1 at all, that story right there should get you excited about the future because if a company's doing that or a team's doing that, reflecting upon what they did in the past and tweaking it to try to make it better all the time, that's great. Instead of just wiping it clean and doing something different or whatever, like
Hmm.
that's a good sign. Very good
Yeah,
sign. They cleaned up some of the wording in spells and this and that. The surprise to combat slightly different. So there's little changes so far that I've noticed. I'm sure some of
yep,
the spells are quite different, and I have not caught those, but the ones I have looked at, the wording is, I mean, barely different. Like the first sentence is slightly shorter, or there's only one sentence instead of two to start talking about the spell. So that's kind of nice. Anything to narrow down trying to get to what you're trying to get to. One thing
yep,
I noticed about the spells though too is that they labeled the spells, which is awfully cool. So this level 8 spell right here actually tells you Bard, Druid, Wizard just right there. So that's just kind of nice. Again, more labeling, and again, that helps
yep.
more people than you would probably think. So, and it's super easy to do. Really good stuff to see.
The other thing they did was they made the different types of equipment matter more.
Oh
And
yeah.
the greatest example was they had three pole arms. They had a glaive, they had a halberd, and they had a pike. And they were in fifth edition interchangeable stat wise. They were a 1d10 with reach. They had a 10-foot reach. That was it from beginning to end. That was
Yeah.
it. So now they added the weapon mastery ability. So if you're a weapon master with that weapon, you can, or have a mastery with that weapon, you can use that weapon's special ability. So suddenly it matters if you get a halberd or a pike.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's super cool. And it's an easy way to do it. I dig it a lot.
I'm not going to
Because,
say that they killed the polearm master build though, but they did make it so it wasn't quite as brutal as it used to be.
yeah.
So
One,
what it is they you would take Sentinel with polearm master, and as they came up and ran up at you, you'd hit them, and you would lock them, basically stop them like 5 or 10 feet out from you, so that they actually couldn't attack you.
gotcha. Yeah.
And with this new version, that doesn't work. Uh, because Sentinel says opportunity attack, and the polearm master says you can use your action to make a melee attack. It doesn't say opportunity attack.
Oh, so they paid attention to their keywords.
A little bit.
In the back of the book, there's a glossary of keywords. I don't think that's in the original player's handbook, so that's pretty cool.
My understanding was in fifth edition they were trying to avoid keywords, which was like dumb. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Keywords are great to have, actually.
I'm not. I mean, there's not a good way to like sugarcoat it. Like that was not the smartest move that they made.
Yeah, this is pretty nice.
So
Should clear up a lot of things.
yeah, hopefully, and then you can be like, like me, the rules lawyer, can actually go to the DM and like say on this page it says this, and then like the DM can like DM obviously can always override or whatever. Like, oh, that's not the argument, but like helps give people like a clear expectation of how things are going to work. So when they try to do
Yeah.
something a little crazy, they have an idea of how it might actually like why it would work or why it might not work.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I like it. Clear up everything. or clear up more things. There's still going to be, little arguments or like little conversations about how something works, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I might be crazy. I feel like I read that you start out with the feet. Did you read that?
Start out with an origins feat.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
They categorize feats into three tiers. There's an origins feat, a regular feat, and then what they call an epic boon.
Yeah, that's super cool that they are giving you a feat right off the bat because that way it should help you feel like you can
Mm-hmm.
create more depth with your character right
Sure.
away.
I haven't really looked at the backgrounds in detail, but that's where it comes from. I know the humans get an extra one because, humans.
Okay. Okay. They're going to come out with more backgrounds and feats and all that in the future too. So,
Yeah.
play with what you can now, have fun with it, and then before you know it, there'll probably be even more options to play around with in the future. I mean, I'm looking through the book right now, the monster stat blocks. Maybe it's in my head, but they seem very easy to read. I could be wrong, but I feel like it is. I like that I do this at work when I make
Hmm.
Excel spreadsheets and stuff. I like that they change all these rows and columns to slightly different colors. They do that throughout the book, which again just helps you see things easier. And they did it in some of their previous books too, but I feel like the contrast or the colors they chose this time around are easier to read.
We have one of our friends that was with us, Gen Con. He's older than us and had a harder time reading stuff. He wasn't sure if he wanted the new player's handbook because he was afraid he couldn't read it.
Oh, yeah, well, that's awesome that it is better. The index is way easier to read. Never make the words lighter and harder to read in a book. I mean, not a great idea. Not a great idea. And for people that are new to role-playing games too, they do a good job of going through and showing examples of how to play, some dialogue. In fact, this particular artwork, some of these styles of artwork that they have for that process, they kind of show like the characters at the table and then the characters behind them, which is kind of fun. And some of
Yeah.
them like resemble their characters behind them. So I thought that was pretty fun and clever.
Oh, that was the one I was looking at earlier. Like the guy rolled like a nat 20 or something, and then it shows the girl like lifting her glasses off to look at it. I'm like, no universe does that happen.
So yeah, overall, I am extremely happy with this. Very, very happy with it. I am excited for the future of D&D.
Yeah.
Was there anything else about the book that you want to talk about?
We'll be curious to see how the Wizards of the Coast product D&D Beyond handles the new rules, the D&D one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right now you can get the D&D one digitally, right?
Yep.
So they at least got that going right off the bat. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. Well, I tell you what, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoy the D&D book as much as we do, and we will see you in the future. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good night.